Your Oliver can be damaged during shipping, handling, and installation. The machine weighs from 6,000 to 10,000 pounds. Be sure your handling equipment is adequate. Take extra care not to damage the separating deck. It is common for contractors to use the surface of the deck as a workspace or storage space. Concentrated loads on the deck can bend or break the deck frame or damage expensive wire overcovers. We recommend a sheet of 22-gauge steel be placed over the deck to protect it during plant construction. A solid level foundation is required by all heavy vibrating process equipment. Your Oliver is capable of making precise separations, and false vibration due to faulty installation can ruin the separation quality. A 6-inch concrete slab is ideal but not essential. If you feel your floor is not adequate, contact the factory or your Oliver representative for recommendations. Normally, all motors will be installed at the factory and will be wired for 60-cycle, 220 440-volt, 3-phase, 1,750 RPM, unless otherwise specified on your order. Motor bases are provided for all motors. The fan motor is located in the base of the machine below the feeder. The eccentric drive motor is located inside the air chest. The blender motor is mounted under the blender. The hydraulic motor, which is always supplied by the factory, is located in the base near the discharge end of the machine. When your electrician wires the motors, be sure he connects them so they turn in the proper direction. The fan shaft, eccentric shaft, and blender shaft should turn counterclockwise when viewed from the discharge end of a left-hand machine, clockwise on a right-hand machine. Proper direction of rotation is very important. The machine will not perform correctly with fans running backwards. The inlet screens filter incoming air and must be clean. If allowed to plug, the machine will be starved for air and not work properly. Some installations may require clean outside air rather than drawing dirty plant air through the machine's air filters. We recommend that air be brought into the machine from the bottom or through the filter openings located nearest the feeder. For complete information, contact your Oliver representative or the factory. Archimedes discovered the law of specific gravity, which states, particles having a specific density of less than 1 will float, and particles with a specific density greater than 1 will sink. Air is used on all gravity separation equipment as the separating standard through the process of stratification. Stratification occurs by forcing air through the particle mixture so that the particles rise or fall by their relative weight to the air. The area on the deck immediately below the feeder is called the stratifying zone. In this zone, the vibration of the deck and the lifting action of the air combine to stratify the material into layers, with heavier layers on the bottom and lighter layers on top. Separation of different weight particles cannot occur until the material becomes stratified. Once the material becomes stratified, the vibrating action of the deck converts the layers of vertical stratification to a horizontal specific density separation. This is important information and should be reviewed by any operator. Click on Print Manual for a complete explanation of the theory of gravity separation. Before operating the machine, it is necessary to have a thorough understanding of the controls and their location. Proper regulation is the key to successful separations. The most important part of the machine is the operating deck because it is the main separating surface. The highest or uphill end of the deck is the heavy discharge, and the lower or downhill portion of the deck is the light material discharge. Oliver Maxi-Stoners have up to 4 heavy material discharge spouts, or rock traps, depending on the model. The feed rate control is located on the feeder and controls the amount of material flow. The feed rate should be uniform and free of surges. We suggest the use of surge bins above the feeder if processing is not continuous. Tilt is the difference in the elevation between the high end of the deck and the low end. Increasing the tilt will cause the material to shift toward the low end of the deck. Decreasing tilt will cause material to shift toward the high end. Normally, the best separations are obtained when the tilt is set at or near the maximum. The tilt is adjusted by moving the tilt control lever at the operator control console. Pushing the lever increases side tilt and pulling the lever decreases tilt. Eccentric speed is how fast the deck shakes and is closely related to tilt. Increasing eccentric speed will cause material to shift towards the deck's high end. Decreasing eccentric speed will cause the material to shift toward the low end. Generally, by increasing eccentric speed and tilt, a more precise separation can be obtained. Eccentric speed is adjusted by moving the More Speed lever located on the control console. Pushing the lever increases the speed and pulling the lever decreases the speed. Air regulation is one of the most important adjustments. The most common mistake is the use of too much air. Separation is not made by blowing the light material from the heavy, but by using a controlled airflow to create the stratified layers. These layers are then separated by the vibrating action of the deck. All the controls on the stoner serve a purpose and must be balanced to obtain the best separations.